Welcome back. This time we're talking about the fourth episode of Disney XD's new DuckTales series, The Beagle Birthday Massacre. After giving us 2 episodes last Saturday, this time we only got 1. And I know I'm a little late with getting this review up. I was out of town over the weekend, and this is the first chance I've had to actually sit down and record my thoughts on watching this latest episode. Like the second episode, Day Trip of Doom, this is a very Webby-centric episode. The story begins with the 3 brothers and Webby about to go on a nautical adventure in their rowboat. Unfortunately, they've never had to get 4 people into that boat, and they end up leaving Webby behind. I did like that they didn't just purposely leave her behind. They were actually attempting to find ways to make it work, and it was Webby who said, no, I'll stay behind. Of course, they could have put forth a better effort to include her in their adventure, but it wasn't like they were purposely trying to exclude her either. Because of this, Webby is left alone on the beach, and she eventually meets Lena. And after seeing Webby's ability to essentially parkour around the area, Lena decides to bring her along to this party she wants to crash. Unfortunately for both of them, it is Ma Beagle's birthday party that she wants to crash. And we get to see some obvious continuity here because they reference multiple times what happened during Day Trip of Doom and why Ma Beagle wants Webby so badly. This was overall a very fun episode. We get some good action with Webby and Lena trying to flee the various groups of Beagle Boys. Those very differing groups were all pretty funny, although the clown version was actually pretty creepy when they were attempting to grab them in the park. Because let's face it, creepy clowns trying to steal children out of a park is always pretty disturbing, even in a kid's show. I've mentioned multiple times in my review of various DuckTales episodes that I've enjoyed the fact that they have all of the characters rather capable. And although the sort of point of this episode was to show that the 3 brothers should not be leaving Webby behind, when they all meet back up in the park, and it's sort of up to Webby to save the day when the brothers start squabbling, they're not completely useless either. It's never shown exactly who came up with the plan. We can assume it was Webby because, let's face it, she is the most capable in situations like this. She's been trained for it, unlike the brothers. But they're able to do their parts really well to get this plan to go off the way it's supposed to, except for the fact that Lena is kidnapped. Of course, they're able to eventually save Lena, and through their adventures, she and Webby have their own inside jokes like the brothers did earlier. And that's really a storyline that I can relate to. I have an issue, and it's just a personal thing with me, of joining a group of already connected friends who have those inside jokes, who have those stories that they can relate to, that someone new into the group is not necessarily going to have. It doesn't mean that they're purposely trying to exclude the new guy, but that's just something that people generally have to deal with, regardless of age, when you're joining an existing group of friends. And I thought they handled that very well. They didn't overplay the hand, but they were able to, have an interesting and fun story built around something that I imagine a lot of kids go through. Of course, we had the big twist at the end when it turns out that Lena's amulet that Webby even referenced earlier on, and it's in that earlier scene, it was sort of played off of like, oh yeah, of course Webby's going to assume that it's some kind of magical talisman. And Lena says, no, I just got it at a thrift shop. But then it turns out it actually is a magical talisman, and that Lena is a plant for her Aunt Magica, whom we can be pretty sure is referencing Magica Dispel, a character from the comics, the original cartoon, as well as the video game. And I pretty much remember her mostly from the video game, her Transylvania level on the original Nintendo DuckTales video game. So not only does this episode pull from existing continuity with what happened in A Day Trip of Doom, it also begins to lay additional groundwork for future storylines. The Great Dime Chase already established a couple storylines, including building off of the pilot's setup of their search for the brother's mother. But now we have to worry about this future villain coming in as well as the fact that Webby's new best friend is potentially evil. It will be interesting to see how they play Lena's character moving forward, especially when Aunt Magica decides to make her play on Uncle Scrooge. So this was another fun episode. I look forward to the next one. But I do want to know what you thought of this episode. Put your comments down below, and I'll try to reply to everyone so we can get a little bit of dialogue going and talk about this new show. As always, you can subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, if all else fails, use a British accent.